Let us try to solve the first problem in Microsoft Access. The problem statement is as follows. We are supposed to create an employee database, and within that database we are supposed to create a table called as employee with the following fields inside this, and we are supposed to perform a few queries which are listed below. So let's try to create the employee database. I have just started the Microsoft Access database. When you want to create a database in Microsoft Access, we need to go to the file and new database. Now I have the blank database over here. I'm going to click on this blank database, which is this option. So search for the blank database. It need not be blank desktop database. In the older version it may just appear like blank database. In any case, search for the blank database. Once you click on this blank database, Microsoft Access is going to ask you for the name of the database. This is very important. Unlike your Word or PowerPoint or Excel, here we need to specify the database name first. So according to them, we are supposed to create a database with the name employee. So I'm going to just copy that employee from here, and I'm going to give the file name as employee. Now during the examination they may tell you to save this in other location, so you can click on the browse and search for the exact location where we are supposed to save them. In my case the database will be saved under the documents. So under my documents it's going to be saved. I'm going to click on this create button over here. That will create the database for me. So I'm going to just click on this create database. Let me do it one more time. So I'm going to click on this create. My database with the name employee will be created. Now whenever you create a database, Microsoft Access will create a table for you. So this will be one default table. If you don't want to use them, you can delete them. But I'm going to create I'm going to use the existing table. Now if you don't want to use this, you can just click on the X mark, which is a extremely opposite side. So this is at this location you are going to see a X mark over here, and you need to click on that to close that. So this is the close tab that you have it here. Now suppose if you want to create a new table, new query or anything, then we have an option called as create. So this will be available here. So you have an option called as create, this tab. If you use this create tab, you will be able to create either a table, or you can create a query and a form and so on, report and so on and so forth. So everything you can create by clicking on the create tab over here. Now let me go to the home here. So in the database, whenever you create a table or a query for that matter, there will be two views which are generally available. One is the design view, the other one is the data sheet view. In the data sheet view, we are going to insert the data sheets. We are going to insert the data into the table, and in the design view we are going to create the design. So if you click on suppose if you go to this, so remember I'm in the home now, and in the home you get that option. So if you click on design view, it will ask you to save the table. So you can also click on this save button that you can save icon that you can see over here. So you can click on that save button to save it, one and the same. So if I click on save, let me click on this save, it's going to ask me for the name of the table. Now you can give any name for this table because it is already mentioned that we are supposed to create a table with the name EMP. So I'm going to create a table with the name EMP. So this is what they have said. Let me click OK to create the EMP table. Then I'm going to click on the design view. So you can just click on this design. Look at this icon over here. So you can just click on this design and it will return to the design view. Now what they have specified over here is they have in the question over here they have specified a few details, like we are supposed to create the employee number as one of the field. So this is what we are supposed to do. These are all heading that we are supposed to create. So all these headings that are the field names that we are supposed to use in the database. So I'm going to create one at a time. So I will first go to the employee number. I'm going to use the Control C to copy, and under the field name over here, you can notice that the field name over here, I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to use the backspace to just make it appear. Now one advice, this is just an advice, it's not really required, but the advice is whenever you give the field name, do not put the spaces. This is advisable, but it is not the compulsory. You can give the space, nobody is preventing you from doing it, but it's not something that you will like to try it, because whenever you want to run a query, then you will have to exclusively add those spaces in between. Otherwise those field or the table name, everything, the query will not recognize them. So make it a practice not to give the spaces in between. However, almost all databases allow you to give a space in the field name, but I'm not trying it. Let's go to the next option, and the next option is the employee name. Now before I try to do that thing, now here you will notice a few things that you have to understand over here. This is the field name that you have, employee and number, and here you have all the data which is there for the employee, like 101, 102, 3, 4. Now you have to, whenever you create a database, you have to specify what is the data type. Is this a number? Is this a string, that is the characters, or a text, whatever you call it as? Is this a date? You have to specify what is the data type that particular column will occupy. So this you need to specify. Now in my case, I know very well that all of them are numeric, so they are numbers. So first thing we have to do here is, you will notice that the data type that you have here is the auto number. Auto number means it will automatically add the number, but I don't want that thing to happen. You can do it, but I don't want it to be automatically incrementing. I'm going to say it is just a number. By clicking on this down arrow, I can always select the number. So that's done. Let me go to the second field. So just click on the second and just I'm pasting it. Employee name, and you know very well employee name is a text, and it's a small text, you know very well. There's just one small one, few characters are there. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to select the data type as short text. By default, Microsoft Access is intelligent enough to detect that you want to type a name and it is a short text. Now let me type the third field, and the third field in this case happens to be designation. I will not type it, I'm going to copy paste it. So Control C and Control V will work in my case. So I'm going to go and I'm going to just paste it here. Designation, again it's a short text. If you notice over here, designation, what they have given is manager, clerk, and so on. So these are all small text there. So by default, Microsoft Access has already taken it as short text. I will not change it because that's what I wanted. Let me go to the next field, and the next field is the department number. I'm going to Control C from here and Control V over this place. I'm going to just use the backspace to make it proper. So this, you can type this. No, there is nothing wrong in doing typing. So I'm going to click on here and it's going to say it is a short text, but I don't want it to be short text. I will say it's a number. The reason for that is you can always see here that it's a plain number. Let's go to the date of join, that is DOJ stands for date of join. So this, the date at which the employee has joined. So I'm going to type the field name, and the field name date of join, and under the data type I will select the date time. So this is what I wanted, even though I'm not going to use the time, but the data type that is available is date time. Let's go to the next one, and that is the basic salary. And if you notice over here, basic salary, there is a space separation. I will not use it for my reference. The reason is I have to then add the spaces in between also. It will create an unnecessary problem to me. So I'm going to just say it is basic salary, single word, basic salary. Now, even though you can notice here, even though it is a number, it is just a number, but I will take it as a currency, because I know that salary is nothing but it's a currency, some money that is being transferred. You can take it as number, but I will take it as a currency because it is something that you are going to pay, or you are going to get, somebody is going to pay you. So that is what I'm going to take it. So I'm going to take it as currency. Now we are done with the description or the design of the all the columns which are required for our database. So I'm going to go over here, and first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this save here. So save, so you can notice over here Control S is the keyboard shortcut. If at all you are interested, you can also type CTRL, the control key, and plus S on your keyboard to save it. Now once our design is over, if you are in the file, if you are in the design over here, so you can notice our design over here, you can click on this view here. So this is a design, and you can click on this view and change it to the datasheet view. So when I click on this one, you will notice that you get a datasheet view. Okay, so here we are supposed to add all the records which are there here. So they have given you 10 records, and there is no option, you have to type it as it is because they have given you the data. I have already created this data in my Excel spreadsheet, and I'm going to just import them into my database. So I'm going to go over here, and this is not there for you, you are supposed to type it. For example, you can type you can go over here and type 101 Ramesh and so on. You just start typing 101, use the tab. So use the tab 101 you have typed. Let me zoom in, and let's say you have typed Ramesh or something like that. So Ramesh, if you have typed, and then designation, and use the tab. So you can keep on pressing tab to do that thing. So if you want a new record, just click on here and then start typing it. So 102 and so on. So let me 102, and whatever that is given over here, you just type it. I will delete them because it's not required. I'm going to import it. I don't want to create unnecessary problem over here. So I'll select these two and press right click and say delete record. The record is deleted. Now this record I will delete it. Delete record. I'll say yes. You don't have to do it. I'm just giving you a demonstration there. That's why I'm deleting the record. So just right click on this place and then say delete record, and it's going to ask you, do you want to delete? Yes, I don't want. I want to delete them. So with this, it's all done. Let's go to the. You don't need to do this part. I'm going to import all the records. So I'll go to the external data, and I will say I want to import it from Microsoft Excel, and I will append it to this location. So let me say whether I have, if I click on, I don't have this location. I think I copy pasted it, so I need to locate for something. So I have selected the location where I have my Excel document. I'm going to just click OK, and I'm going to import it. This is not required in your case because I'm just importing. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm getting this data from my Excel, which I've already typed, and I'm just importing it to my table over here, and I'll click OK. And what you notice over here, I'm going to just do this one, and I'll just click next and just finish it off. So just to say close, and if I try to open this table, you notice all of them are done. Assume that I have done it. Okay, so assume that I've typed all this. I took a pain in typing all these things. Only one thing you can do over here. In this case, you can't. There is nothing that is getting repeated. Now, suppose in the new record you want the supervisor to come over here, then you type a control and the single quote, you will get it. So what key I am typing here is let me type it over here, CTRL and this single quote. Okay, single quote is near your enter key, you get that thing. So just type it. What happens is the previous value of this corresponding field will come over here. Suppose if I want Pratiksha to come here, so here if you notice this particular field there is nothing is there, so I will press control and single quote, then that Pratiksha will come. It's just going to repeat it. Okay, suppose if I want to get this date, then I'm going to use control and single quote, I'll get that previous value, whatever which is there for the previous record, the same value will come here. So I'm going to just type some value here. The reason I'm doing it is I will delete this one. This is not given by the university. I have done it just for your explanation. So I'm going to just click on here, right click and say delete this record, because I don't want to, and it's going to warn me that I am about to delete one record. I say yes, because that was meant for demonstration. So with that done, let us look at what they are expecting us to do. So they are expecting us to perform these operations. They said list all the employees who are working in the department number 10, and you notice that there is this department number. There are some employees who are working in the department number 10, and they are saying list all the employees. Now they have not said the employee's name or anything. I will assume that all the employees means the full details of the employees, not just their name. So how do we perform this one? For this, let's go to the create here. So let's go to the create here. Okay, so in the create, if you notice in the create, you have a table. You can create the table, and you also have the form which you can use for creating forms. We are not interested, but what we are interested in is the queries. This is called, when you say retrieve the values, we are using the queries to retrieve the values, or to update the values. We use something called as query. Query is the question that you are asking to the database. There are two ways in which you can do it. One is using the wizard, which takes you to the step-by-step option, which is lengthier one, but I'm going to go for the quicker option, and that is the query design. So I'm going to click on this query design over here, and this is under create. Okay, and let's see how I can create it. So the minute I create a query design, immediately you will notice that you get an option called as show table. So you get an option called as show table, and it will list you all the tables. In your case there is only one table, so you don't need to worry about it. Now suppose if this is not visible to you, in that case what to do? Suppose if you by mistake if you close this one, then how to get the tables? You have a option over here, and that says show table. So just click on this option, show table, and that will be available under a new tab, which is available only when you're designing it. So this is available only when you're designing it. When you design the table, or when you design the query, when you design the report form, or anything for that matter, this will come. This appears only when you're designing something. So let me click on this show table, and you will notice that the same thing will come. In our case there is only one table. Generally there will be many tables, but assuming that I have only one table, click on this and go down, and you will get an option to add. So just click on it and then add it. Once you add it, you notice that this particular table which was here will appear this. So I have selected this table, that is why that table is added to my query design over here. After that you can leisurely close this by clicking on this or clicking on the close button, whichever is convenient to you. Just close it. Again, if you want it, you can just click and get it back. At any time you can get it back, but see to it that there is only one table which is added over here. Maybe in reality you may add more than one table, but for this practical there is only one table that is required. Now in this table, it's going to list out all the fields which you have created, like employee number, employee name, designation, department number, so on and so forth. Now the star means everything. Okay, there are two ways in which you can perform the action: by clicking on this field name or star and then drag it. You use the mouse button and drag it and leave it here. This is one way of doing it. Okay, I will just show you the other way. Other way is under here, under this you have fields here. You can click on this down arrow and then select employee.star. This option is same as dragging it from here. So you can drag and leave it over here, or you can just click on this and then select it. I'm going to select star. Star means everything. I assume that they expect me to show everything. They have just said list all the employees. They have not said list all the employee names or list all the employee designation, nothing. So they said list all the employees. I assume that all the employees means everything for that employees. So what I have done here is the field that I'm interested in is not just employee number, employee name, or employee anything. I want everything: the employee number, employee name, designation, and so on. That means dot star. So this means dot star. Then what they have said, then there is something else that they have said. Then they said that the employee must be working in the department number 10. So this is the criteria that they have specified. Now I can specify the criteria here by saying department number equal to 10. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the simplest option, because the typing will take you a lot of time. So what you can do is go to the next one and then select the department number. So this is the DPT number, and the criteria, because they said it must be department number 10. So the criteria is just 10. Now one thing you notice over here is there is a small box with the arrow, right arrow. Right arrow means when this query is running, this information will be shown on the screen. So that means all the details like employee name, employee star means everything. So all the details like employee number, employee name, designation, department number will all be shown on the screen. Now if I put a star over here again one more time, already the department number is shown in this star option. Again it will show the department number. I don't want the department number to be shown two times, so I'm going to remove the right mark over here by clicking on it. If you click again, it will come. Click once, it goes. Again, it will come back. It's like a toggle. So I will uncheck the department number. Remember, this option is there, but when the query is run, it will not be shown on the screen. So this department number will not come two times. However, the department number will come because I have selected star here. That means everything, including the department number, will come once. If I do it one more time, two times it will come. So let me now go and execute this query. So to execute this query, you have an option called as run. You can click on this run. That it will perform the, you can say perform the actions specified by the query. I want it to run the query, so I'm going to just click on this run. So when I click on this run, let me click on that run, you will notice that it's going to show all the details like the employee number, employee name, designation, department number, date of join. But what you notice over here is it is for all them who are there in the department number 10. Others are filtered out. Only those whose department number is 10 will be listed over here. Now again I'm going to go to the query design. For your convenience, what I'm going to do is I clicked on this design, so you can click on this design, and for your convenience I'm going to check this department number. So what happens? In this case, department number, first it will be shown because of star, and one more time it will be shown. Let me run it again. What you notice here is you see this department number. So you notice that employee dot department number once, and you will notice one more. This is field 0 it says, and what it says, it is the same value. See 10 10 10 10. So this value is shown 2 times. I don't want this thing to happen. So field 0 and something has to come. I don't want that thing to happen. That is the reason. If I go to the design view and I'm going to uncheck this. So I'm going to say that this is a condition. I want all the people who are there working in the department 10 to be shown, but I don't want that value to be, this is a condition. This condition has to be fulfilled, but the values, this value need not be shown as a separate field. So if you uncheck it and then run it, you notice that it will show department number, but you will not see that field 0. So and that field 0 is not asked after all, so I don't need to show that thing. So this completes one query over here. Let me save this query. Now when you again to save this query, you can use Ctrl S or click on this save button. It's going to ask you for the name. They have not specified any name for the query. I will assume that it's query 1. Click OK. So your query 1 is saved. Let's go for the second question that they have asked. So the second question says, list all the employees who are getting salary less than 20,000. So this is what is the condition. I'm going to just copy that thing. Salary must be less than 20,000. So how do we go about it? Option is one and the same. If you want to create a new query, go to this create tab. Under this create tab, I am not interested in table, I am interested in the query, and I am going for a query design. So click on query design. You will see this show table. You notice this place, it is blank. I'm going to select this and you can double click on it, or you can just click on add. So add button is there at this corner. You notice that there is this add button. So when you add it, this table will be added to the design view. So I'm going to just click on add and then click on close. You can click on close from here or close from here, one and the same. And again they said list all the employees. Now I don't know whether it is just a name or their designation or anything. I'll assume that everything is required. So I will go over here and I'm going to click on this down arrow and select star. That means everything regarding that employee I want to see. And what is the criteria? The criteria that they said is they must get a salary less than 20,000. So let me go to the next option, and the salary, if you click on the tab over here, salary is this basic salary. Okay, even though there is no field called as salary, but there is this basic salary. Again, I don't want, this is for the condition. What is the criteria? If you notice over the criteria here, I'm going to type less than 20,000. So this is what they have said. Let me just say less than or equal to is there. Let's see. Get the salary less than. There is nothing called as equal. So less than 20,000 they said. Specific salary less than 20,000. So I am giving a criteria less than 20,000. Now I don't want the basic salary. Remember, this star means everything, including this basic salary. It's already there. I don't want that basic salary to come as a field 0. So I'm going to say don't show this one. So here if you notice at this corner it says show. So if you tick this, that means you want to show it. If you don't click it, that means you are not interested in showing that. So that is what I said, don't show this one. This is required, this condition is required, this particular condition basic equal to less than this is required, but don't show that thing. Don't show it on the out. With that done, let's run this query, and I'm going to click on this run here. On the top side you have this run here. Click on this run and you notice all of them who are getting salary less than 20,000 are listed over here. All of them listed over here. I think only one person is getting salary. I'm not sure who's greater than 20,000. I'm not sure, but you know that this condition is satisfied. Less than 20,000 is satisfied. Let us now save this query by clicking on this save button, and they have not specified any name for the query. Let's assume that that's a query 2. Click on save and click on OK. So query 2 is saved, so click on save and just click OK. The query 2 is saved. Let's go to the third one. Now third one has two parts here, so let's solve the first part. Update the salary. So remember, in the previous case what we are doing is we are selecting the, so if you look at here, you have the original table which has a lot of salary. You see 25,000 salary and other things there. Our query has a less number of records because we are our query is satisfying some condition. So what we are doing is from this table which has a lot of data, we are selecting all those records which are of interest to us. So that means we are selecting something. So selecting is you are picking up something from the database. Now the next question what they are saying is, they are saying you don't pick up the values, don't take the values, don't select the values, rather you have to update the existing value. So this is also a query. You are supposed to update the query. So this is a different type of query. We were, so far what we were doing is, if you look at this create button over here, I'm sorry about the advertisement by the antivirus there. Let's look at the create over here. So if you look at this create over here, I said create a query. Okay, that part is same. Here also you're going to create a query. So you're going to click on create and you're going to click on design query. This part is same. But what is different here is the query that you are selecting is different. So that makes a huge difference. So let's try to create a query. Usual step, you click on create and say query. So I'm going to, and then add the table. This part is same how you have done before. All this part is same. So up to here you are doing same thing. So you clicked on this create and then you said design, and now you are in the this. By default the query created is a select query. That means you are selecting some records, picking up some records, but this time I am not interested in that kind of query. The reason is they said that you are supposed to update. So this query is different. And which is this query? Now if you look at this one, there is one other query over here that says it's a select query, that says this is an update query. So I am interested in updating. So you see, make query update the data. I want to update the data as far as their question. I want to update it. Now let me, before I update it, let's look at this bottom part, this bottom part over here. So let's look at any changes that is going to happen at this particular point. If you notice over here, so you have field, you have table, you have sort, you have show, and you have criteria, and or something is there. Now when I click on, the minute I click on this update, so when I click on this update part, so currently this part is selected. When I click on this update, you see the difference. What's going to happen? This particular area will change. Let me click on this update, and suddenly you notice now that this options have changed here. There is field, there is table, but there is no sort now. It says update to what? So because you are updating, so it says update to what? We want to change the new value. What is that new value that you want to update to? And criteria is there as usual. So in the previous case, suppose if I go back and say select, this part says sort. Now if I go and if I say update, this part says update to. So what is that we are supposed to update? Let's look at that part now. So what is that they are saying? So they are saying that you are supposed to update the salary. Now this time they are not saying list all the employees or something of that. They said the specific, you have to update the salary. And what is that you are supposed to? You are supposed to increment it. Okay. So let's first look at what that we are supposed to do it. So we are supposed to update, let's select that part, basic salary. Salary means basic salary. Okay. I'm say if you look at here, there is a small slit here. So if you click the mouse over here, you can just make it larger, click and drag it. How you are updating your the columns, the width of the column in Microsoft Excel, same thing, you keep the cursor. When it becomes two-headed arrow, you see this line there, the minute you keep it over here, you can drag it to the other side to make it slightly larger. Now they are saying, okay, update to what? According to their question, what is that we are supposed to update? We are supposed to update to the 10% increment. That means old value plus 10% of that value. Suppose if the old value is here, not this one, sorry. If the old value is 25,000, 25,000 plus 10% of 25,000. Okay, that is what they are saying here. So update it to 10%, increment by 10%. That means old value 25,000 plus 10% of 25,000. Okay, that value has to be 2,500 extra has to be added. Okay, so this is what they are saying. So how do I write that thing? So update to what? Update to, let's look at this one. Update to, now what, this is the table name EMP. You notice that the table name is EMP. I will use the square bracket, and I'm going to say EMP. You notice that the minute I type EMP, Microsoft Access is helping me and saying that, okay, this is the table that you want to use it. I want to use it. I just press enter. That's it. I don't have to type the whole thing, just press enter. Then I put a dot over here, and now it says what you want to do it. So I want to update my basic salary. You can select any one of them, but for this question it is the basic salary. Basic salary, the original value of the basic salary plus again the name of the table, that is EMP. You don't have to just type E and Microsoft Access will help you with that. Dot basic salary and 10%. Now if you don't know how to get the percentage, 10 by 100 you can do it, or I know what is it, 10 by 100 is 0.01. I know that is why I'm doing it. So what is 10% is 10 by multiplied by 0.1. So this is 20, whatever value which was there, original value plus 10% of that. That is what you are adding. So original, that this is called as incrementing. Original value plus extra 10% of the whatever value which was there, that you are supposed to do it. Now let's look at what is the condition that they are saying. Condition that they are saying is only those person whose salary is less than 20,000. So if you notice, there some people have 25,000, this will not be incremented. All this 15,000, 12,000 and all has to be incremented. So 15,000 plus 1,500 extra has to be added, something of that type. 12,000 plus 1,200 has to be added. So extra has to be added for all those whose salary is less than 20,000. So I'm going to use this criteria. So let me copy this and paste it. You may not have that liberty. So the criteria here is all those who are getting salary less than 20,000. So basic, if it is less than 20,000, if the this basic is less than 20,000, then you are incrementing it by 0.1%. Remember, when you run the query, the minute you run this query, it will update it. So very, very important thing. So what is the meaning of that? If you run this query 10 times, it will update 10 times. That means first it will update it with the say 15,000 or 1,500. Again, if you run again, it will add 1,650 or something. It will keep on adding it. So don't run this query 100 times. You run this query and just tell the examiner that you have already executed that query. That is why the values have changed. Or before you update, you run this, because if you are not very sure, you call the examiner and then show that this is the value. I'm going to run this query now. So the minute you run it, it's all over. Okay. Let me show you the table. You don't have to do this trick. Let me show the table. In my table, these values are 15,000, 12,000 and so on and so forth. So I will go to the query number 3, just click on the query number 3 and I'm going to update this one. Remember, you are supposed to run it. So how do you go to this one? Go to this design and then you get this run. If you are in the create home or other, you won't get it. Go to this design and then run this query. So just run this query. The minute you run this query, it's all over. Remember, it will say I will update it. So I will click on this one, and it's going to say that I will update 9 rows now. That means I will change the values. If you say yes, the values will be changed. Let me say yes, and it's all over. If I go to the table now by clicking on this table, you notice that the values are already updated. 16,500 it has added, 1,002, 12,000 was there, so 13,200, 13, and so on, so on. Now suppose if you run it one more time, what will happen? It will start updating this one also. For your information, I'm going to do it. I'm going to say look at this value. 16,000 is there, 13,000 is there, 13,000, 19,000 is there. 10% add addition, it will do it. Let me go to the query number 3, and let me go to the design, and I'm going to run it one more time. One more time it's going to say, because you are running it, I will do it, update 9 more records. Click run. If you say yes, that's the end of it. It will again update the records. I'm going to say yes. Let me go to the table over here, and you notice it's all gone. So it is, you see that 12,000 was that, it's all gone. Okay, now it has become 21,000. You notice the changes over here. So be careful during the examination not to run the update query again and again, because every time you run the query, every time it is going to update the records. Now this is not supposed to be updated. Now because I have executed it 2 times, this has now crossed the limit of 20,000. Use notice over here, this has also crossed the limit of 20,000. If you are running it once, only this was the value which was there, about 20,000. Because I have executed it 2 times, this value has now gone about 20,000, and there is no way you can do anything. You have to retype it all together. Okay, it is not like Microsoft Excel that you can drag and make the magic. It's not going to work. Okay, so be careful with that. Okay, so that is done. So with that question, let me go to the query number 3 and let me save it. So just click on save, and they have not given any name. Click OK. The query is saved. Let's look at the last criteria. Last criteria is same, but this time for 20,000, if the salary is greater than 20,000. So 5% increment. Let's go ahead and let's try this one. So as usual, let's go to the create. Let's go to the query design. This part remains same. Query design for almost all queries. This is the same thing. Query design. Add. Select this table. Click on add. The table is added. Close this one. And now we are supposed to give the criteria. So let me go here, and I'm going to, like Microsoft Excel, I'm going to click on this column over here and drag it. The field I'm interested is in basic salary, and remember, if you do this one, you get sort and this one. Okay, but I am not interested in sorting. I am interested in updating. So this is not the query. The query is the update query. Remember, when you are updating it, update query has to be clicked on. So click on the update query, not the select query, not the make table or append or anything. Update query. The word, the question itself says, if you look at the question over here, what they have said in the question itself says update. That means you are supposed to run the update query. So let's go to the update query, and the field is I've already selected. And what is that you are supposed to update it? Start with the name of the table. Remember, table name is EMP. Just type E. Microsoft Access will help you with that. Press enter. Put a dot. Basic salary plus old value of the basic salary. Open the square bracket. Type E. Press enter. Put dot and select basic salary into. Now if you don't know what is 5%, 5 by 100 is this one, but I know what is 5%. It is not 0.5, it is not that 0.05, it is 5%. If you type 0.5, that means 50%. So remember that it is 0.5%. So 0.5%. What's the criteria? Criteria according to them is all those whose salary is greater than or equal to 20,000. So greater than or equal to 20,000. So basic salary, if it is greater than 20,000, you are incrementing it by 0.5%. Now if you are running it genuinely, if you are running it only once, there will be only one record. Let me show you the original one. There is only one record with that has 25,000. Now you must get one record will be updated. In my case, I am going to get 3 records will be updated because I updated my previous query, or I executed my previous query too many times, and because of which I have this 21,000 extra. These two are extra. Okay, so this is going to say I will update 3 rows, but in your examination you must get only 1 row. Let me go to the query number 4. This is all you need to do. Now go to the design. You have this design over here. Click on this design and then say run. Click on this design and then say run. So when you run it during the examination, remember it must show that one record will be updated. Remember, you may say, okay, why 3 then? I executed my previous record 3 times, and because of which some values exceeded the 20,000. Otherwise it would have been only one record. It should say only one record because according to their condition only this one will be satisfied, others will not get updated. But because I executed the previous query 3 times, some of these values went beyond 20,000. So that is, I will because of my demonstration that has happened. So let's click on yes, and that's it. You need to say yes. 3 records got updated. Let me go to the employee over here. This is the table. Okay, if you close this one, double click on here. So remember, any query you can open it by double clicking on here. So that's simple, you know very well. Double click on this, it will open it again. How do you close it, by the way? Go to the extreme end side, you have X button. Okay, that X button is not closed. So whichever is open, that will be closed. Okay, for your information, I'm going to do it. You don't need to do that thing during the examination. So I'm going to click on this employee first of all. Let's just show you the employee. You notice that the 20,000 values have been changed. Notice, okay, change by 0.5%. Now if you want to close this employee, click on this employee and go to this extreme side. Remember, you need to close. Click on this one and then click on this close button. Okay, whichever is open, current, whichever is there, this is the current one, that will be closed. So just I'm going to do it for you. So close it, it's gone. So how do I get it back? The question is how to get it back. To get it back, double click on this. Remember, some of you again will click on the text. Never click on the text, click on the icon. That's very important. Some of you click on this text itself. Don't do it. So whenever you have the picture, double click on the picture, it will open. Okay, not on the text. It may think that you want to rename it. Okay, so then you will have trouble. Let's now go to the query number 4, and this is not the end of it. Let me click on save. Click on OK. That's all you need to do. Thank you for your interest. I will stop this video now.